This is NDTV, and you're watching Classics.
Hello and welcome to the Unstoppable Indians. Every week we take a journey into the life of an outstanding Indian, a person whose talent, acumen or moral example is transforming India. The best, the finest from every field join me, Manvi Dhillon, on this show to share their life story, their journey to success, some of the knocks along the way, what made them get up and keep going, what makes them an unstoppable Indian. My guest today is a phenomenal percussionist, a maestro of the tabla, an outstanding musician. The contemporary world music movement wouldn't be what it is without him. He is the one and only Ustad Zakir Hussain. You cannot separate rhythm from the man. Thank you so much for joining me on the Unstoppable Indians. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to be here, Manvi. Thanks for having me here.
Percussion is thrilling even for somebody as ignorant as me. And the fascinating thing about percussion is you can find it in everyday life. Where do you get your inspiration from?
Oh my God, every day there's something to look at as you're walking the streets or driving or just looking out the window, and there's something that inspires you, a bird flying or some rhythm of a motorcycle going or anything. And so there's rhythm in nature. The time cycle, the divine world, whatever you might call it, is based on rhythm and time. Whether you go from Shiva's Damru or Lord Ganesha's Pakawaj and so on. So inspiration is everywhere you look, and it just depends on knowing what you're looking for. And for me, it comes from teaching a student, for instance, just seeing him or her do something that I had not imagined would be possible, because it's just that person thinking of it and doing it and giving me an insight into something new, or playing with a new musician who I'd never played with before, and therefore having to alter the way I play, and in doing so discovering something different.
And all of that is inspiration.
Absolutely, it is.
I could attempt so many descriptions of the way you play the tabla, but how would you describe yourself?
Well, let's see. I take a shower, brush my teeth, whatever.
The tabla.
Well, it's all preparation, getting ready to get down to doing the business. But for me, tabla is something that I play all along. It's not something that I get on the stage and I do. It's part of me. It's a living, breathing, what you may call a bug that's inside of me, and it travels with me, and it lives with me, sleeps with me, whatever. And so when I'm going to go play a concert, it's already in motion. The whole preparation, the thinking of who I'm playing with, or what did I do with him last time, what were the rhythms like, and then the rhythms coming through, and suddenly the hands kind of moving or hitting or doing all that thing, and the mind is thinking of these patterns that I might introduce because we did something last time, and this might be an interesting connection onwards, and so on. So that's the preparation, winding my own kurta before the concert, just focusing on it and focusing on the journey towards that culmination, which is actual performance. So it's all the part of it.
How much of it is intuition? How much is experience? Because now you've got so many years of experience of, accompanying, collaborating with so many people. Does intuition still play a big role?
Intuition plays a big role, because our music is not what you may call something that's fixed from A to Z. It's not, okay, you're going to start this way, do this, do this, do this. No, there's a basic outline there, but most of it is spontaneous. It's something that you would introduce an idea onto the stage, and other musicians would take it and interact with you on that idea. So there's a fair bit of uncertainty as to what would happen. And because of that, intuition plays an important role in it. What is the audience feeling? What is my fellow musician feeling today? And does he like this? Would he like that? Would the audience respond well? All that mixes in, and you kind of come up with an idea that appeals to everyone.
And therefore adaptability as well is a big virtue.
Intuition, adaptability, creative, spontaneity, all that stuff is all part of it.
You know, it's unusual for a tabla player, and when I say unusual, you know, clearly times have changed, but for a tabla player to perform solo, to accompany a vocal recital, to accompany a dance performance, and yet you've comfortably straddled all of those worlds. Coming back to the fact that, do you thrive in straddling all those worlds?
I was lucky I had an early start, so it helped me over the years. When I started playing on stage, there were these senior musicians performing, and those musicians were the one who I grew up watching, playing with my father. So there was already some material there for me to absorb and analyze and sort of include in what I was going to do. And starting with that, then obviously it became very important to interact with the same musicians who then pointed the way to other things for me to do. And that allowed me to be able to interact with the musicians who were coming along later on. And so I was very lucky. Early in my life I started. So over the 45 or 46 years, I played with 3 or 4 different generations of musicians. And that has allowed me to grow as a musician and learn as a musician.
And I want to go back to the beginning and your initiation to tabla. And correct me if I've got this wrong, but when you came back from the hospital a few days old, your father, the legendary Ustad Zakir, whispered the notes of the tabla in your ear. And that was when your initiation began, just a few days old.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you have no choice, buddy, this is it. For him, his music was his puja, his prayer. And it was important for him that that message was passed on. And since I was the first son in the family, and in those days, son got the nice things given to him. And so I was the one who was going to receive the knowledge. And he needed to start me early. And one of the reasons was he was not well. He was very sick. And it was presumed that he would not be with us long. So, and he also, I guess, thought that. So as soon as I arrived from the hospital, 2 days old, and instead of singing azan in my ear, he started singing rhythms and said that this is his azan, his prayer, and that's what he wants me to have. So my training began, and it lasted through the year or two that I was holdable in the arm. And I don't know, maybe that was also a medicine for him, because over those 2 years, he also started getting better as he would sing rhythms to me.
It was a healing process.
It was a healing process for him and a learning process for me. And by the time I was 3, I mean, you know, information was already in the subconscious mind. So when I started to actually put my hands on the tabla, the material kept emerging from God knows where it was. And so half the job was already done. And so by the time I was 7, I was on stage.
But there's also a great deal of study and a great deal of discipline that goes into it. Do you remember what those early years were like in terms of the rigorous discipline? And
well, that didn't start until after my first public performance. Till then it was okay, ho-hum, oh yeah, okay, kid, oh look cute, doing well, that kind of stuff. And then once I was 7, the serious question was put forward, do you want to do this? Like really do this? And I was like, yes, of course. I had no clue what I was getting into. And the next thing I know, I'm being woken up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and my father sitting down with me like this, and we talking tabla, talking rhythm, talking tradition, talking just divinity, everything to do with life, from about 2 or 3 in the morning till 6:30 in the morning. That was our routine. I loved it. I looked forward to it, just waiting for him to do it.
And it never overwhelmed you?
No, he was God. He was somebody I wanted to be, to emulate and make happy. And I wanted to do that. I was looking forward to it. And so it was that time with him that was a very, very special time. For 4 or 5 years, that happened. From age of 7 till about 11 and a half.
And your first concert booking was at an incredibly early age.
Well, 7 was when I first played, but 12 was my first 100 rupee note earned playing tabla. And that was very interesting, because I went with my father to this concert thinking that I'm going to listen to him play. And there was this great sarod maestro, Ali Akbar Khan, who was playing a concert, and they tuned the instruments and everything. And when it came time to play, he said, "Okay, you're on." So I didn't know I was on. So that was the beginning, like Trial by Fire, one of the greatest living musicians of all time, Ali Akbar Khan. So I played with him, and then Ali Akbar Khan, gave me 100 rupees and says, "This is for you," and that is still with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't work anymore because that note doesn't have any value, but it has
a lot of meaning
an incredible, more than value can be put to it, value for me.
Did your siblings and you compete for your father's attention?
No, actually, because my younger brothers were much younger than me. Fazal, who's my younger brother, is about 11 years younger to me, and Tawfiq is about 12 years younger to me. So I was more like an uncle. So my father started traveling a lot, and so it was kind of left to me to be able to, inject the idea of playing tabla to them. So I was more like an elder person at home helping them along than being an elder brother.